Okay. Yeah, so yeah, it was originally just a blank V-hull. Uh, that went down and had 3 bench seats across it, one there, one here, and one right there, which are still under there. But I built this deck and everything on top of it, and so you've got a spot for a seat here in the middle, the driver's seat, which is not removable. I mean, you could unbolt it and remove it, but it stays in there. A seat back there, which are all these swivel pedestals, like that one. They're all removable. So there's one back there, one goes here, and then one up there. And they all swivel and everything. It's got rod holders all the way around it. In the back, get back around here. This is the outboard. Just got the cover off of it. The label came off of this side. It's still on the other side, I think. Yeah, Evinrude. You've got the fuel tank under here. And on this side, there's another hatch for just like some storage. Got like a life vest under there. There's the back light that goes in there, position light, or that's the round white light. Also down under here, you can see it through there if you take the stuff out, is an automatic bilge pump. You can see down on the back of the boat. This is the intake for the live well. And then the drain there. And then fish finder transponder mounted there. So yeah, you got this back casting deck area, goes down in here. You got the helm over there, fish finder, fire extinguisher, and air horn and shit's up underneath there. Control panel. And I did all this and all the wiring. Right now, the only things wired up to this are bilge pump, live well, nav lights, and the fish finder. But that's pretty nice because it's got a constant readout of your voltage. And it's also got a USB like phone charger or whatever you want to plug into it, and a 12-volt like cigarette lighter socket you can put a charger in. Then across this decked area, these are 3 hatches. So you have the hatch on this side, which has one of the 3 batteries and some storage. You can see it's got like I got like a dock tie down and some rod holders in there. And then the middle is the live well. And then it's got LED nav lights on it, so they don't pull much power, which is nice. Here's a foot control for the trolling motor. It's infinitely variable, which is nice. So as you turn it, it gets more and more and more, less and less powerful, instead of just being like preset, like low, medium, high. You can see the power is still on, apparently. Then under this compartment is the electrical. One battery, the cranking battery, is not in it because I actually pulled it out to put in the 280 when I moved it in Mineral Wells and never took it back out. But I did all the wiring myself, so it's basically professional because that's what I do for a living. But everything in the boat's circuit protected. This is a waterproof circuit breaker panel. Everything nice and labeled. Just normal blade fuses like a car. Marine on-off switch, so you can select. So this is a big circuit breaker for the trolling motor, and this is a circuit breaker for this whole panel. So if you get a big overload, it'll blow the breaker before anything even hits the panel to go out to like the fish finder and everything else. So everything's super protected. And this is all high-grade marine wire, tin marine wire. This battery switch is it's a 4 positions. So you have off, 1, 2, and 1 plus 2. So if you click this thing to 1, it powers all the ancillary shit on the boat by this cranking battery that's usually in here, which is this battery, and the one on the other side are big deep cycle batteries. This one's just a cranking battery. So it'll run the outboard starting and your fish finder and lights and shit off the cranking battery, because the trolling motor runs off of those 2 batteries because it's a 24 volt trolling motor. But I put this in here because A, you can turn it off, which it is now. You can turn it off and it cuts power to everything except the trolling motor. The trolling motor you can turn off here, which, you know, it should have been, but it wasn't. Or you can flip this breaker and it'll cut it off. But the nice thing, the big reason I put this in here is if you're out on the lake and you're running a bunch of shit and you end up draining your cranking battery without realizing it, you can switch this to 2, and then this deep cycle battery will run everything on the boat. And then if you really, really get in the shit, you can switch it to 1 plus 2, and it'll connect this battery and that battery to give you like an emergency set of voltage to crank the outboard over to get back to the dock. So it's really, this boat is crazy overbuilt, is basically what ended up happening. I mean, it's all brand new. The transom in the back, which is the piece of wood that goes under that everything bolts to, is brand new. I mean, it's a brand new boat. I mean, everything in it is freaking crazy. It doesn't really look like it when you open up some of the hatches, because I left it outside for a while and it rained a lot and it filled the inside with water and I forgot about it. So it kind of like molded up the inside of some of the panels. You can see that. But A, it doesn't fucking matter because it's a goddamn fishing boat, so I don't really care. But it's all decking, and then underneath all this decking is all the plumbing and wiring. But it's I also added a bunch of foam underneath all this stuff for added buoyancy in like the case of a sinking. So, because all this shit's filled with foam, all under here is all foam. So theoretically, if you were to sink, it should keep the boat like at the surface of the water, so you can kind of like pull it back. But you know, if you ever sunk this boat, then something's really wrong, because A, I completely seam sealed the entire thing in 3M boat adhesive, which is crazy shit. It literally doesn't leak a drop. And B, it's got an automatic bilge pump in the back, so whenever you can manually turn the bilge pump on from here if you just want to pump water out, but you don't even have to turn it on from here. As long as the 12 volt power is on, it will, there's a float in the back that whenever the back of the boat gets enough water in it, it automatically kicks that bilge pump on. And it automatically kicks that bilge pump on and starts pumping the water out. And then there's I just turned the battery on so you can see it like lit up. It automatically turns, yeah, it starts pumping it out, which it pumps out from here, this hole right here. And then I wired in right here is a red LED light. That so whenever you're cruising around or fishing or you're listening to music or whatever, you might not be able to hear the bilge pump kick on because it's down underneath there. So if the bilge pump automatically kicks on, if you're taking on a lot of water, that red LED light will come on and it's bright. So if you see that red LED come on, then you know to go back there and open it up and check underneath it to see why you're taking water on. Like maybe you forgot to put the drain plug back in or whatever. But yeah, thrust control and steering. The steering's completely redone as well, lubed up, high grade marine grease, steers like a champ. The engine runs good. You'll just have to, if you took the boat, you're just gonna have to dick with the engine, because the only problem with it is it'll only get the boat going about 5 miles an hour right now, because I think it's having some carb problems. I rebuilt the carb, but I just redid the gaskets and put a new float and needle valve in it. I just haven't had time to really mess with it, but once you get the throttle up past the very beginnings, it'll start, Dixie, what are you doing? It'll start, surging and just die, and will just die. So I don't know. I ran a compression test on it, and it's a 2-cylinder, 2-stroke, and one of the cylinders does have a little bit low compression, but, I don't know. It just needs to be messed with. It's got a whole new ignition on it, though. Almost everything on the ignition's new. It's got a new fuel pump in it, everything. And I got a bunch of, that box right there has got a bunch of and it's all, factory Evinrude Johnson parts, so... But, that's the only thing with the boat, is if you want to go over 5 miles an hour, you just gotta fuck with that outboard and get it running right. I mean, it'll crank, just boop, you bump the key and it'll crank right up and run, and idle's perfect, and will run good up to about like 4 or 5 miles an hour, but after that it just starts dying out. But you can see the nav lights work and everything on it works good, and it's a nice fish finder and everything. That seat's brand new, and then the other seat for up here, I think it's in the garage, is brand new. These two are older ones, but they're actually really comfortable, so I just left them in here. It's got hookups for a Bimini top if you ever wanted to get one. I don't have one for it. Yeah. It's repainted on the outside. Whole new paint, decals. Registration's good till 2020 right now. Like I said, the trailer's pretty much brand new too. It's got new lights, new wheels, new tires, grease bearings, these new bunks that I put on it, guide bunks. All repainted, new spare tire carrier, fucking new wiring. It's a pretty sweet little boat. It's definitely an awesome boat to fish off of, and it's just an old aluminum boat, so it's, you can kind of like, you can bump it into things or run it into some shit, and you don't really have to worry about anything too much, which is nice. Not like a fiberglass boat where if you start running it into rocks and shit like that, you start punching holes in it. This thing, I mean, yeah, if you ran it into a rock hard enough, you're going to punch a hole in it, but it's not too bad. A lot of fucking work put into this boat. I've spent about every day for about four or 5 months doing this shit, just to find out that I was going back to England. So, oh yeah, there's one more hatch right here. Move some of this shit out of the way. So this hatch here just pops all the way out, so you can completely like remove it. And under here you got a throwable life vest, which is required. Got some new poly line, anchor line in there, or tie off line. Little anchor, but that's what I designed this area for because it goes down to the inside of the hull. And you can see, like, I completely repainted the whole inside of the hull all the way through this boat. But yeah, I put this in here because this is like that's like the hatch that the anchor and all the nasty watery shit goes into, because then the water will just run all the way down to the back of the boat. So all the nasty muddy shit and crap like that all goes down in there because it won't get anything else fucking nasty and dirty. Yeah, it's the boat. Jet skis. And my kayak is in here. Long ass fucking kayak, but yeah, man. I just gotta figure out, I mean, if you want to use it, I'll haul it down to Mineral Wells. I just gotta figure out, because I gotta take these jet skis down there too. So, but I was thinking, you know, Thanksgiving is this weekend, I guess. So I don't know. Let me see. I may try and go down to Mineral Wells for Thanksgiving, because I found out I'm leaving. They're packing my house up the 26th and the 27th, and then I'll be flying out for England on about the 30th. So I may come down to Mineral Wells just for Thanksgiving. If I come down there for like a day or whatever for Thanksgiving, then I'll probably take these jet skis down there. And then so they're down there, and then whenever I go down there the final time to fly out, I'll hook the boat up and bring it with me, so the boat and the truck are both there. But yeah, that's the boat.